Tonight on the Black Channel. Oh, don't think I forgot about you, fella. The Black Channel is live for all of you out there who want to see the slow roasting. Unapologetic, unadulterated, and absolutely uncompromising. Greetings, brothers and sisters from around the world, and welcome back to the home, the haven, the stronghold, the everlasting superfortress of intelligent black thought. We are the Black Media Roland, and this is the Black Channel. And I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the voice of Black America, the Black Authority, broadcasting to you live from the only historically black college and university of higher education and learning in the entire cosmos. Of course, you are welcome to join us. And join us you shall, because on tonight's program here, all right, folks, now, just so you be aware, by the way, on tonight's program here, just be forewarned, we're going to take this a little bit step by step because I want you to understand the evolution of these things. Now, the old black media has been desperate to regain their relevance. And I need to explain to you and remind you one more time of what their alleged relevance is or was supposed to be. Their relevance was supposed to be that they were the kingmaker. That if you could get the ear of Ebony, Jet, TV1, BET, Bowling Ball Martin, if you could get them, then you had the black vote. If you could get Tom Joyner, you had the black vote. So you didn't actually have to do anything for black people. All you had to do was placate the bought and paid for front row seat boule niggas. And that was all you needed to do. And they would go and do the dirty work of pulling the wool over on the black electorate's eyes and telling them, oh, well, these are all the things you should infer and imply will be done for you as black people. But it's a new day now. It's a brand new day. And people, it matters where you get your news and your information, because if you're listening to outlets that make predictions that are constantly wrong, ain't that right, Roland? You're listening to outlets that are constantly in error, or if they say things and it doesn't come to pass the way they told you to, or things just don't line up, it's time to start questioning why you're there. Now, I've been telling you all for years that Roland Martin has been campaigning for a job either on cable television or a job at the White House, desperately doing so. And that he's been using him being cast out into the wilderness and exiled to the internet as his tool to try to elbow and strong arm his way back in with very limited results. And I've been telling everyone here that his future and his fortunes were hinging on one thing: whether or not he could deliver the black vote, whether or not he was influential at the black grassroots, whether or not he could stomp for a candidate who didn't already have it in the bag and get them to win. And so far, across the board, from Stacey Abrams to Sheila Jackson Lee, Roland Martin has watched, or shall I say the old black media has watched, as their stock has simply plummeted. Now, you'll all remember that we were giving you coverage of what happened with Sheila Jackson Lee, and yet, oddly enough, the Texas Apple turnover, Roland Martin, ain't had much of nothing to say about Sheila Jackson Lee right there in Houston, except one pitiful ass tweet. Now, that's what he had to say. That was it. This is a guy who knew that the cards and the writing was already on the wall. It was already in the cards what was going to happen. And it terrifies him because if, as I've told you all, if he can't actually deliver the vote, if he can't actually be influential, then he's not going to have anything They're already not answering the phones for him like he wants them to. There's no reason to even acknowledge his existence if he can't deliver anything. If all he's good for is showing up somewhere and doing a catfish fry, that's not going to help. Now, what I want to talk about here is back in October. Jason, back in October? Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely. Because I want us to get past this election cycle here. And I'm like, I'll have time to come back and do this later. Because don't send for me unless I call for you. I'll have time to come back and do this later. We're going to go ahead and connect some dots for you all right now. Now, back on October 13th, Bowling Ball Martin got together a panel of sycophantic interlopers and shameless grubby yes men and would-be political climbers who ain't gonna climb. And they decided to have a whole damn segment about me. Now, as you all know, I was in the middle of other things, had stuff going on, and I actually wound up doing a program on Instagram because the internet connection was real messed up. So actually wound up having to do that at the time. Talking about the Louisiana governor's race. Now, you all have to remember, since Stacey Abrams, they've been monitoring everything. They're telling Roland, hey, man, you need to be able to deliver something. So Roland has been hard at work, and he's been saying, man, look here, we got to get something going. We got to get some wins under our belt somewhere. So every election, for everything from dog catcher to ice cream salesman, Roland has been trying to talk about to some degree. But that Louisiana governor's race, Shawn Wilson versus Jeff Landry, and Roland sat up here and he did a segment here, and I guess he figured I was going to say something. I guess he figured that this was going to be a way to draw me out at the last minute and get some attention or whatever, some synergy. And I just said, I ain't feeding you. That ain't going to happen. That's not going to happen. Let me show you how irrelevant you are. He put up a whole video. It's titled, Roland Rips Loudmouth Jason Black. Vicky Dillard, why are they MIA in Louisiana governor's election? I don't know if Vicky's from Louisiana, but I know I am. But this is a stupid ass title. Why are they MIA in the Louisiana governor election? Who said I was going to be there? Who is the candidate that I support? What is worth talking about? Jeff Landry was going to stomp a mud hole in Shawn Wilson and walk it to the picnic. Why do I need to waste my time on a fait accompli except to let people know the obvious? Why he's going to lose. Roland was sitting there watching the election returns. I'm like, why watch the I've already told you what the election's going to be. So in other words, me sitting there watching the election that night, in reality, it wouldn't have been breaking news. It would have been reruns. Because I told you how it was going to happen. But here's Roland on his program from back in October, and I'm going to show you all how this dovetails with today. So just understand, we're not just doing a recap on this. I'm going to show you and explain to you how this dovetails with today.
Normally I ignore.
Oh yeah, one more thing. I did not bring receipts. I brought invoices. I'm not going to tell you what you paid. I'm going to tell you what you owe, Roland.
Normally I ignore the Simple Simons, Gary. But this is a Louisiana race, and so I'm just curious. Have you seen or heard that loudmouth ass Jason Black, who's in Louisiana, who's always go to my YouTube page, cause go
to my YouTube page. Got him stumbling already. This isn't so great. By the way, this is a bad look for Roland. I got him shook. Not a good look for him. So, by the way, just so you all can briefly see this for yourselves, this was him What he's saying here.
Wait, go to my YouTube page. Who's in Louisiana? Who's always go to my YouTube page? Cause like last year, this little idiot did this thing called Pull Up Summer 2022, which was pretty stupid because he claims that I was running from him at Essence Fest, and he's so irrelevant. The fool don't even know I was there the whole time.
I'm chasing this big beef baconator built bastard all over New Orleans, all over the damn Superdome. He must have burned about 3,000 calories that Saturday. You all saw me do something you have never seen before. As soon as he said that he was in Louisiana, you all saw me put up on all my social media, Roland is where? I'm on my way. I'm literally posting video from the big black beast. That V8 storming its way down the freeway through the rain. Y'all saw me driving at night in the rain. Jason got about 4 Red Bulls and is on his way tearing up Interstate 10. I have never broadcast my exact location before. All of y'all knew where I was that weekend. All of you knew where I was then. And I said, I told you when I was on my way. I posted video when I was there. I'm like, oh, by the way, I'm on scene. I'm on the scene. And then I took out a little bit of time. In the middle of all that, I couldn't get to Roland. I couldn't get to him. So I went and grabbed that tether who was trying to sit up here and talk greasy about us and whatnot. I decided, let me go ahead and see if Pace University can help embellish his credentials. And we did. So what this shows you all is that a year later, Roland is still smarting over this. All this time later. He's trying to do big talk now like he was doing something. All this damn time later, he's saying this a year later. And by the way, this just shows you what they don't have. It just shows you what they don't actually have. They ain't got nothing on us. They got nothing on us. By the way, to see that state congresswoman sitting up there upside down over him, boy, I'm telling you, there's a scene right there for you, isn't it? So that's Roland. He's on my YouTube page here. He's upset because Jason was giving him fits last year, so I guess he thinks he's going to redeem himself in 2023. The time to be talking like this, Roland, was in 2022. The time to be talking like this was when you were running all over the damn Superdome. That was the time to be talking like this. Not a year later. The time to be talking like this was when you all were so desperate to get out of New Orleans, you flipped your Sprinter van. That was the time to be talking like this.
From him at Essence Fest 2022, which was pretty stupid because he claims that I was running from him at Essence Fest, and he's so irrelevant, the fool don't even know I was there the whole time, and he couldn't even get credentials, but I was all over the place. But it's interesting, I see him, I don't see nothing on.
You didn't need credentials to get into the Superdome, sir.
On here about Louisiana gubernatorial race. Nothing. So I get a kick out of these people who love talking black.
Okay, now, was he posting that from last year? Was he posting that from last year, talking about the gubernatorial election? This thing literally says 2022. Literally. Folks. This is the best he can do. He's not talking about the Louisiana gubernatorial election last year. This is a fellow who's desperate to keep his credentials.
Nothing. So I get a kick out of these people who love talking black, who love talking about what black folks should do, who love talking about what other black people should be saying and not saying. And he's sitting there in Louisiana, ain't said nothing about the black guy running for governor, but I'm
He's sitting there in Louisiana, ain't said nothing about the black guy running for governor. What was he offering us? What was Sean Wilson offering the black vote? Folks, what was Sean Wilson offering black people in Louisiana in exchange for the black vote? What did he offer us? Because I didn't see nothing, so therefore I offered him exactly what he offered us. Not a damn thing. I didn't even offer him attention. I'm just like, this is a fait accompli. But apparently Roland thought it was a competitive race. It never was. No reason to discuss it. Just like Sheila Jackson Lee, that's a fait accompli. She didn't get beat. She got spanked. So there was no reason for me to take out precious time to cover a so-called election. It wasn't a race. It can't be a race when one person is already at the finish line and the other person is stuck at the gate. That's not a race. But furthermore, Sean Wilson was not offering us anything. So it would be nonsensical for me to do that. Hey, Roland, I'm not auditioning for a job at the White House or cable television, so I don't have to sit up here and publicize for the Democrats. Let them do that on their own. But in any case, he's talking to Gary Chambers over there on the far right side. I guess Gary has put down the marijuana blunt long enough to be able to do an interview here. I guess he's put it down long enough for that.
About what other black people should be saying and not saying, and he's sitting there in Louisiana, ain't said nothing about the black guy running for governor, but I'm sure he probably gonna try to call him a sellout like he tried to call you one and everybody else. But I purposely just believe in calling these folks out because what they do is talk trash on YouTube, but do nothing to actually help black people. And if you black and listen to that fool, you stuck on stupid too.
All right, let's go ahead and deal with this right quick.
The idiot did this thing called Pull Up Summer 2022, which was pretty stupid because he claims that I was running from him at Essence Fest, and he's so irrelevant, the fool don't even know I was there the whole.
If I'm so irrelevant, why are you doing an almost 6-minute piece about me? If I am irrelevant. Now, that's the part that would be nonsensical and insane. You're doing a 6-minute piece about me and about the irrelevant person and about if my YouTube channel is so irrelevant, why are you taking out time to have a whole panel full of people to talk about little old irrelevant me? If I'm irrelevant, that literally makes no sense.
Time and he couldn't even get credentials, but I was all over the place. But it's interesting, I see him, I don't see nothing on here about Louisiana gubernatorial race. Nothing. So I get a kick out of
because it was 2022, idiot.
These people who love talking black, who love talking about what black folks should do, who love talking about what other black people should be saying and not saying, and he's sitting there in Louisiana, ain't said nothing about the black guy running for governor.
That's what black folk in Louisiana should be doing. They should be saying nothing about Sean Wilson because he was saying nothing about us. That's what we should be doing.
But I'm sure he probably gonna try to call him a sellout like he tried to call you one and everybody else. But I purposely just believe in calling these folks out because what they do is talk trash on YouTube, but do nothing to actually help black people. And if you black and listen to that fool, you stuck on stupid too.
Not letting people be deceived by you and the old antiquated mothball cobweb covered bought off coon media. Stopping that from occurring, yes, that is what I'm doing for black folk, quote unquote, on YouTube.
They help black people, and if you black and listen to that fool, you stuck on stupid too.
You know, Roland, we have a real problem with figuring out how do we collectively advance our people. And a portion of that problem is that some of us speak so much against black progress that we don't contribute anything.
We have a real problem with discussing how we're going to advance our people. There's not a problem over here. We know exactly how we're going to advance our people. And it's not going to be with a marijuana joint in one damn hand, Gary Chambers, and an abortion clinic parking receipt in the other. You're the one who doesn't know how we going to do this. Now, I want to remind you all of something right here. Gary Chambers all of a sudden wants to talk about me on Roland Martin's program. I want to show you all right here. If Roland and their friends want to talk about, well, what has Jason done, this, that, and the other. By the way, and I don't do this. You all know I have a strict policy against discussing personal communications. But just so you all to be aware, on your screen, I didn't bring receipts, I brought invoices. After Gary Chambers rose to prominence by standing up at that school board meeting and talking, I went to work immediately to contact him. Gary had seen my message, never responded. August 2020, you can see on your screen the message I sent him. You can see on your screen the message I sent him. Never responded. So what the hell do I owe Gary Chambers? What do I owe him? I didn't just sit up here and figure out who he was yesterday. I'm like, by the way, hey, Gary, we reached out to you years ago. You made your decision that you were not going to join forces with us, and now we see why you did it. Because you are a Democrat Party puppet whose job is to deliver the black vote so that we get bamboozled again and get no tangibles for ourselves, but you get a nice little cushy job on the plantation in the big house on the porch. And I just wasn't going to go for it. So as soon as I saw you do like this, I'm like, okay, he's letting me know what he's about. He's let us know what he's about. And I just backed the hell up and said, okay, from here on in, Gary, you gonna have to hold that. Just understand something, Gary Chambers. You gonna have to hold that because elections are temporary, but the black media is eternal. And black people's interests are eternal. And I'm going to be here whether it's an election year or not, whether you're on the ballot or whether you're at Wendy's. I'm going to be here regardless. And I'm going to be covering the issues regardless. So while you're out there trying to find some relevance and find some backing, I'm going to be right here on deck every day doing what I do. Whether you are around or spoken of, or whether you are completely forgotten and dismissed, I'll be here. Well, we all saw how that turned out for Gary Chambers now, didn't it? Apparently, Sean Wilson wasn't any smarter than you because Sean should have reached out to me to try to see if he can get himself some votes, but Sean didn't do that either because the Democrats assured him, don't worry, you got our backing. Well, we see how far that carried him. So for any of you wondering, while Gary Chambers is trying to speak on my name, well, Jason, did you ever reach out to him? I reached out to him. So any dumbass talking about, did you try to talk to him? Yes, I did. Now, will you explain to us what was his excuse for not talking to us? Oh, we already know what the excuse was. He was too damn busy licking Roland, of all people, licking Roland Martin's boots. He was too damn busy doing that. So all this time later, I guess he's still salty about the results. Gary, don't blame me. The only person you can blame is yourself. Maybe if you did a little less weed smoking and a little more critical thinking, you would have told the Democrats, you know what? I need to go talk to Jason because he is in touch with the soil and I'm not. You tried to pretend that you were and you aren't. You couldn't do anything for yourself running for office, and you couldn't do anything for Sean Wilson either, because everyone sees that you all are just political puppets propped up for a minute, but they know who it is you really serve, and that's why the voter turnout has been what it's been.
Other than that to Black progress, which is not a contribution of any value, to be honest. We have a real opportunity where we can turn things out. And my struggle with all of the people who kick back, and this is for the foundational Black Americans who say that we should not push some of these candidates, you got to get somebody in there to move your agenda.
Yeah, that's right. And the folks you all are suggesting are there to stop our agenda. So you're absolutely correct. We do need to get somebody in there who's actually going to push our agenda. Sean Wilson, Sheila Jackson Lee, and Gary Chambers ain't it. So yes, you're absolutely right, Gary. Well, you got to get somebody in the city. This is that game they play. Well, Trump gonna win. If you don't get us in there, Trump gonna win. Okay, but if you get in there, you're not gonna do anything either. So yes, Gary, you're absolutely correct. We do need to get somebody in there who's going to push our agenda, and you all haven't done it, and you're not suggesting anyone who will. So we did what you all didn't think was going to happen, and now a critical mass of the black electorate is just saying that election day is just another day to take off or go do something productive. But supporting you isn't productive. And now that you are calling us out by name, now that you're no longer trying to play dumb or play stupid, and that you don't know who we are, well, that wasn't the hell the way you were talking when you were running for office. When you were running for office, we didn't exist. And I'm like, you know what? I'm perfectly fine not existing. I don't have to exist to you. I just have to exist to the electorate. And they see me just fine. It's you and Roland, oddly enough, two rotund individuals. The electorate can't see either one of you. Isn't that interesting?
Say that we should not push some of these candidates. You got to get somebody in there to move your agenda. Yep. And if you can't convince people that your agenda is important, you got to build a bridge big enough, a boat big enough that you can cross the river of struggle. Because black folk tired of struggling. They tired of sitting in conditions and communities that are not working. And the way that we advance that is by putting people who share the majority of our views in office so that we can get things done.
Okay, Gary, if you got the damn formula, how is it that you got your ass kicked with all 4 feet, Gary? Y'all, if Gary got it all figured out and if Gary knows the way, then how the hell is it that Gary got his ass stomped by Senator Kennedy? How can that be? Gary didn't even just lose a little bit. Gary was just a non-factor. Gary helped Kennedy raise more money. If Gary actually knows the secret recipe and knows the formula, then how the hell is it that he couldn't do a damn thing for himself if his strategy and his ideology is correct? If his way is the way we're supposed to do it, then why the hell is it didn't work for him? Or for anybody else that he was stomping and advocating for? Now he wants to sit up here and beg up on us irrelevant folks? Yeah, we're so irrelevant that you can't win an election without us. Maybe we're a lot more irrelevant than you pretended we were, and we're just like, you know what? We're perfectly fine now with you pretending that we don't exist. We getting work done from the shadows. We're good.
Not working, and the way that we advance that is by putting people who share the majority of our views in office so that we can get things done. And then if those people are not doing what we want, we don't put them there again. But I didn't see many people that were running for the U.S. Senate last year that had a majority black staff, that paid majority of black people with the resources that they raised, $1.3 million.
Symbolism.
That kept reparations as a part of their platform, and
no, you
still was not getting the support of those people. So
because you were not running on a reparations platform, sir. And furthermore, we could see through the fakeness and the phoniness. Here's the issue. If Gary Chambers was legit, Gary, why is it that you didn't go ahead and just check your damn, why didn't you go ahead and just check your damn Twitter? If that was the situation, Gary, why didn't you just check your damn Twitter, dude? It's not like you didn't know I contacted you. So, by the way, Gary, if you were interested in getting every vote that was available, if you were interested in building bridges, I got a question for you then, Gary. Why is it that you didn't build any bridges over here? You built a bridge to Roland Martin, who can't help you do a damn thing. This shows how incompetent you are. You didn't build a bridge to the Voice in Louisiana. You built a bridge to the chicken pot pie in Texas, who couldn't do anything to help you. That's how savvy and slick an operator you are. If you all agree that the reason we didn't talk about him or Sean Wilson or Sheila Jackson Lee or any of these other political puppets is because we know the game and we're not going for it anymore, give me the fire emoji in the chat room and hit the likes button for me. It's over 4,700 people in here live in just the first 30 minutes. And we are cooking with napalm. Give me the fire emoji in the chat room and hit the likes button. Because we ain't playing no games. If Gary had the secret and had the solution, he should be able to show us the results on his end. He should be able to show us where he's building coalitions. After all, isn't that what a politician's supposed to do? But let me just go ahead and explain what the hell the problem is. You see, Gary Chambers is not working for black folk. He's working for the white Democrats. So you see, a politician is supposed to deal with different factions in society and gather them together into a voting bloc. But the Democrats told him, no, don't deal with them folk over there. And he's like, well, yes, boss, because I'm your employee. And well, now what you found out is you can't win without us. The Democrats told him that we are the extremists. So over there on the Republican side, they embrace the extremists over there. The Democrats told him we're the extremists. And he's like, oh, well, let me not fool with them. Okay, well, Gary, see how many elections you can win without us. Because right now you all are gathering together a pitiful track record. So if we're so irrelevant, okay, perfectly fine. Build that coalition without us. Build it without us. Go ahead and show how many elections you can win without us. By the way, I must have a lot of Roland Martin supporters in here tonight because my likes are kind of low. My likes are looking a little bit low, so apparently I got a bunch of Roland Martin supporters on the low. They're like, well, Jason, you don't represent me when they listen to the program. Yeah, you don't represent me. So sometimes you got haters hanging out. Okay, it is what it is. We all know how this goes. But in any case, if Gary had the solution, if Sean Wilson had the solution, if Roland Martin had the solution, why is it they don't have the successful track record that follows? You all said that you were going to build a coalition without us, and we said, well, damn it, get to building. We need to be, now he's copping pleas and talking about we need to build bridges. Well, Gary, you need to get your hammer and your nails and your wood, and you need to build a bridge to us. We don't need to do a damn thing for you. If you want to get elected, you need to build a bridge to us. We have stated clearly what the situation is and what the problems are. So therefore, if you want to get our support, you are the one who, since you turned us down before, you had your opportunity to work with us. You decided you could do it without us. We have now left you to your own devices. So from here on in, if you want anything else, you are the one who will have to build the bridges over here. And if you fail or refuse to do so, then you will be the one who will find themselves falling down into the river and being washed away.
It's almost like when you're black and you're running, are you ever good enough for black people sometimes? Because you say, I'm not going to vote for them just because they black. When they black and they got a college degree and a PhD, you got a problem with that. When they black and they are activists and they are advocates, you got a problem with that. The question is the white man's ice cold?
So now Gary Chambers is trying to out black folk. You know, Gary, you could have contacted us 2020 was when I contacted you. Over 3 years ago. You've had damn near a presidential cycle to touch ground with the new black media. You've been sitting over there with Roland figuring that he was going to deliver you to the promised land, and all he did was deliver you to the curbside for pickup. Gary, these are self-inflicted wounds, dude. They're self-inflicted wounds. What you found out is that the Democrats cannot win the elections for you, and the old black media can't win it for you either. But that was your strategy, Gary, that you could do it without us. Now you want to come back and try to use these damn shaming tactics and talk about some damn degree. Black folk voted for Barack Obama who had hella degrees. This isn't a matter of whether your degrees don't impress us. Your degrees don't impress us. That's that stuff you tell them white folk. Them white folks sitting there with you with your lips smacking good on kissing their asses. We ain't doing it. Your degrees don't impress us. You're not going to pull smoke and mirrors or a bait and switch. And we are not vulnerable to shaming tactics. You have to tell us what you're going to do. And it needs to be spelled out clearly and plainly. And then we need to see that you have a track record of supporting that. You have a track record of running from us, Gary, so we don't trust you. You've had 3 years to make inroads to us. You flatly refused. You notice he's not talking about that. Now, understand something. I want to go ahead and bring this 720 degrees for you all. For those of you who have been on this mission that we have embarked on for the last 15 plus years, for any of you who ever wondered, do any of these people know who we are? And I told you back when I had 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, yes, these people know who we are. It's their job to know. They're just pretending they don't know us. And a lot of you are like, yeah, you Rob, you just pretend. Man, you talking garbage for clout. Don't know these folks know who you are. And what they're telling you is, yeah, we've known who he is the whole time. We've known him the whole time. Gary Chambers, when he would not respond to me, it wasn't because he didn't know who I was. He didn't respond precisely because he did know who I was. It's like, oh, hell no, not that guy. We all know him. And when I told you all that if you're waiting for the white media or the corporate media or the old black media to acknowledge us and acknowledge how influential we really are, you're going to be waiting until hell freezes over and thaws out. They're never going to acknowledge that. They're always going to say we're irrelevant, even as they go down in flames and lose election after election, even as the pollsters sit up here and have people saying our talking points. They're going to keep saying that we're not relevant, even as they go down in flames. I've been telling you all that they know exactly who we are. They've always known who we are. They're not ignorant of who we are. They're not dumb. They're just plain dumb. Everyone knows who we are. From Hillary Clinton to Bill Clinton to the Obamas to Joe Biden, everybody knows who we are, which is why all of their efforts are concentrated towards neutralizing us. And now they're more terrified than ever because the portion of the election that Roland Martin was talking about 4 years ago, we ain't got to worry about them young black folks. It's the old black folks that's going to vote for Biden. Well, every year, that portion of the electorate gets smaller and smaller by definition. Now you're stuck trying to get the younger folk to support you. But the problem you're going to have there is they're already wise to your games. They see you coming. They know you're going to come with the slick talk. And worst of all, they don't believe you. We don't trust you. That's what you gave up, Gary.
They're advocates, you got a problem with that. The question is the white man's ice cold?
And again, since I'm just gone ahead in there, same thing. Loudmouth Vicky Dillard. All they do is run their mouth. And again, you got black.
I don't know why Roland would go off on a tangent. But bottom line here is you got a reason to be scared, Roland. You got a reason to be scared. Everyone, let me go ahead and remind you of exactly what it is that Roland is scared about. His job is to deliver the black vote. And as you all remember here, poll after poll. I've already done this program a few weeks ago. Poll after poll. News outlet after news outlet. Sitting up here letting you know, hey, that black vote, it's the black vote that isn't going for Biden. It's the black vote that's doing that. It's the black vote that is crumbling. You want to talk about Sean Wilson, Louisiana governor's race? We can do that. We can talk about Sean Wilson and Louisiana governor's race from NOLA.com. If you really want to have a flashback retrospective here, Roland, you all see the headline there. How did Louisiana's primary election turnout affect the governor's race? Here's the data. I think in Louisiana, Democrats are in serious trouble, one pollster said. Let me go ahead and show you a close-up of what they said there. The lowest voter turnout for a Louisiana governor's election in a dozen years yielded a meltdown for Democrats as Republican Attorney General Jeff Landry sailed to victory in Saturday's primary contest without needing a runoff. Analysts attribute the Democratic Party's failure to get a candidate into the runoff to low black voter turnout. Now folks ain't even being subtle anymore. They're just coming out and saying poll after poll, candidate after candidate, election after election, state, local, federal, everybody. Now they're all coming out and saying, by the way, the Democrats losing. It's that black vote across the board. Everywhere you're going, that black vote has gone into retreat. We know it's still there because we saw what happened 2 years and 4 years ago. We know they're out there, but they are refusing to show up. They're not motivated to show up, and all the fear mongering and Trump mongering isn't working anymore. So everywhere you go, you're hearing place after place, outlet after outlet, story after story, news after news. What we've been saying all along, I guess now you'll believe it now that the white media outlets and the corporate media outlets and the cable TV media outlets, now that they're all saying what we've been projecting and telling you now for years, now that they're saying it, maybe this will help bolster some of you. Some of you've been weak of faith for a while, but maybe this will help bolster some of you. Maybe it will. That you start to recognize and see that, hey, by the way, maybe there's a little bit more going on here. Maybe there's a little bit more happening here. Maybe Jason and crew were right all along. That we weren't just sitting up here blowing smoke. It's like, yeah, this is what it's been the whole time. You're not alone. We have been accurately predicting it and seeing through the lies telling you the black folk gonna fall in line when it's time to vote. Don't worry, the black vote is just upset for right now, but when it's time to pull that lever, they gonna show up and pull it. That's the damn propagandistic lie that all of these white media outlets and their old black media flunkies have been pushing and saying now for years. Now they're going into elections and it's not happening, and they're terrified to death because if this is the way that black folk in Georgia, Texas, Virginia, Louisiana are doing now, what's going to happen in a year when it's Biden's turn to gather that black vote? And you already see that the black vote is very loudly, vocally speaking against him. What happens then? I think you know what happens then. You have every reason and every excuse to be very worried right now. You thought you were going to formulate an alternative strategy. There is no alternative strategy. Roland sat up here and thought that he was going to talk us into supporting the buffer classes, because that's what the old Negroes did and would have done. He's getting a radically different response from us. We're not puppets, zombies, or lemmings. We're not going to just go with the program because a face on a TV screen or a cell phone said something. We are actually voting for our interests. And if you want our vote, then it's you who will have to change. Roland and Gary, it's you who will have to change. We don't have to alter anything. You are not going to get our support because you do not support our interests. And you're not going to give us tokens or symbolism. You're not going to hand us any of that. You are either going to give us the same thing you offer whites, Latinos, Arabs, Asians, LGBT, hell, non-citizens. You're going to offer us the same thing plus some on account of the fact that we are the foundation of your political support. So we don't need to do anything for you. We are not going to build any bridges to you. You're the one who burned the bridges down. I suggest you get your big ass down there to Lowe's or Home Depot. Get you some lumber and start building it again. But don't look for us to do anything. Because let me just tell you right now, we cool over here. We're cool over here. Niggas like Roland Martin need protection from the Democratic political establishment. People who don't actually have support from the grassroots have to get protection from the white political establishment. Roland has no black support. It's just a bunch of niggas getting on TV, or in their case, just getting online and trying to jockey and generate some support for themselves for something that they don't have. And yes, let me go ahead and say this here right now. Michael Imhotep. Now, I've been on Michael's show before, but I told y'all that Mike, you all know how it goes. When you find out who the boot-licking, ass-kissing niggas are, when they talk to me and then that man send the kite to them. The man sends them the text message. The man puts a bug in their ear, and next thing you know, they start flipping. So these dudes who delude themselves, and Michael, you ain't never gonna be that dude. I'm not dissing you. I'm not dragging you. Michael, you're never gonna be that dude. Give it up, Johnny. You ain't gonna get on. You and Roland and the rest of these dudes telling yourselves that you're gonna get a television contract or something, nigga, stop it. It ain't happening. The contract ain't coming. You're like a 50-year-old rapper looking for a record deal. It ain't coming, Michael. Just give it up. Jason, I was at a radio station, and that's as big as it's gonna get. I'm not sitting up here kicking dirt on you. I'm just saying, hey, bruh, give it up. You're making a fool of your damn self. At least have some damn integrity. I'm not heading for a cable television job either, but the difference between you and me, Michael, is I didn't sell my damn soul and give up my damn dignity in the process. I kept it real, and the street is with me. Meanwhile, you sitting over there trying to see if you can get the white Democratic establishment to get you a higher leg up. A leg up that ain't coming. Just give it up, man. I know you're not going to do it because you have to project to people that there's something bigger going on. No, it's not. It never was. It ain't going to be. And furthermore, you've gathered a team of losers. You've gathered a damn team of losers. This fella goddamn me, Ryan Leaf, Jamarcus Russell. He's got a roster full of busts. That's why you can't resurrect nothing, dude. Jason going in. No, I'm going off. So if anybody ever wants to know what I really thought about that, let me go ahead and just lay that out there right quick. So I don't have to say this anymore because there's really nothing for you to gain by talking about Michael because it's not like Michael moves no weight. I did him a favor coming on his show. He didn't do me ones. It's not like my numbers went up. His did, mine didn't. I helped him out. That's why Roland's got to sit up here and have a whole damn panel about me. I'll be damned if I'm going to have a damn Zoom call with 4 or 5 other people about Roland. I can handle this my damn self with an opening monologue. I'll be damned if I'm going to get 4 or 5 other people together. We're going to hold a powwow to talk about you. What's the gain from that? What the hell? No, folks. The ground is crumbling beneath their feet. The ground is crumbling beneath their feet. They're supposed to be able to deliver that black vote. Roland's supposed to be able to demonstrate that he can stomp, that if he calls, black people are going to show up, that he can get us mobilized. Roland, let me tell y'all, let me remind you all of just how incompetent and weak Roland is. Roland has been in perpetual campaign mode since 2016. What? Roland has been in perpetual campaign mode since 2016. He's been sitting up here taking out PPP loans and every damn thing else. He's been in perpetual campaign mode for the Democrats now, really for over a decade, but seriously since Hillary Clinton ran. He has been in constant campaign mode. And I can tell you what they told him because it's obvious from his behavior what they told him. They told him that if he wants his back in, he's going to have to deliver the black vote and show that he is consequential. And he has been desperately trying to prove that ever since. And it ain't happening. And every time you turn around, he's always asking for the same thing. Roland is never asking for anything for black people. He's certainly never asking for anything for the descendants of the slaves. He's only asking for something for himself. Hey, Democrats, you need to give me more money so I can use my bummy ass program to go try to bully some black folk into voting for you. But he's only asking for one thing. He's not asking for 5 or 6. He's always demanding the same thing. Something for him. Something specifically and only just for him. He's never saying what the Democrats need to do is back a black agenda. He doesn't say that. He only says the Democrats need to hire some black media people who know how to talk to black folk. Well, Roland, if you know how to talk to black folk, why is it that despite your best and most valiant efforts, they've been back-to-back losing? And now, with the 2024 election, this is the most predictable car crash ever in history. If Roland can't pull a miracle out of his big butterball-built ass, then the Democrats are going to be like, oh, man, you're going to see them just openly dissing him. You're going to see them openly dissing him. No, buddy. No. Your election fortunes have gone badly, and they've gone badly for the reasons that we told you that they were going to go badly. You thought that you were going to cobble together a non-black coalition. You thought you were going to cobble together an immigrant coalition. You thought you were going to gather together anybody but us, and don't worry, this will work out. And now you're finding out, actually, no, it doesn't work because it can't work. So now you're just resorting to desperation. Roland doesn't know how to talk to the black street. That's the problem. Roland doesn't know how to talk to the soil. He knows how to talk to fraternities and sororities and a bunch of giggly ass hand-picked niggas who are all competing to see if they can get a white benefactor to hire them for their firm or hire them to be part of their political campaign. None of you niggas know how to talk to the soil. None of you. And that's why the more you talk, the worse it gets. It is so obvious to us that you know nothing about our experience, but furthermore and worse, you don't care about our experience. Therefore, there's nothing to say. Now, I want you all to ask yourselves a question. Ask yourselves a question here. Where would they be today? Where would Bowling Ball Martin and Gary Chestnut Chambers be today if they had spent the last 10 years, 5 years, 3 years building bridges, talking to us and interacting with us and finding out where the electorate actually is instead of trying to tell the electorate from the top down where we're supposed to be? Y'all supposed to come vote for us. No, you're supposed to back our agenda so that we feel confident in voting for you. Where would they be today if they had done that? Where would Gary Chambers be today? Where would Stacey Abrams be today? Hell, where would Roland Martin be today if he had spent the last 5, 6, 7, 8, 10 years actually interacting with the real black media rather than thinking that he was going to block us and we would just disappear and go away? By the way, where would you be today, Rolly, if you had done that? Where would you be today if you hadn't alienated half the black folk online? Where would you be today if you hadn't cut off your big face and chicken eating lips to spite your face, your nose and chicken eating lips. Where would you be today if you hadn't done that? Where would you be today if you hadn't completely and thoroughly destroyed your credibility and likability among the black street? Let's be very, very clear. My policy has always been the same. Every single weekend, you know it without fail. 15 years and counting. Every single weekend without fail. When I throw the sign up, the telephone number is the same thing it's always been. 646-787-1933. No call screener. No filter. If you want to talk to the new black media, you can talk to us directly. Roland Martin has put up every wall that he can between himself and the black street because he was terrified that the white folk that he wants to get favor with would hear him get called by somebody actually in touch with the black street, and that he would have to blow his whole self up because he would have to speak against us and say that what we're saying isn't really what we should want. And he knows that's a non-starter. So he just said, yeah, we're not going to take calls anymore because I don't want to get put in a situation where where somebody can force me into articulating that I am actually against black people's interests. That's the difference. That's always been the difference. We have never been afraid to speak to our people. That is why we are considered speaking for our people, because when you talk to us, we're like, hey, the phone lines are open. Anybody who disagrees, there it is. And as you can see, the tree is bearing fruit after all these years. And now we've shaken the very foundations of the old black media. They've watched the ground crumble beneath their feet. Now they are daring us and begging us and trying to confront us. Here's the real problem, Roland. You don't carry no weight. I mean, except around your midsection, but you don't carry no weight. The momentum is on our side. The wind is at our backs, not yours. The wind is in your face, along with a cream pie and a turkey drumstick. But we got the wind at our backs. We have the momentum on our side. We ain't got nothing to ask from you. The only reason that we bring you up is because we want to remind people that if they do so happen to stumble across you, we've already set the narrative for them about what the deal is with you. We've already set the narrative. That's the only reason, because in order to make sure that the old black media stays dead, we have to remind people what you all did and why it is that folks don't fool with you. We gotta do that. But we're not asking for nothing from you. We're not asking for a damn thing from you. We didn't ask for your support. As a matter of fact, we've been saying that the way for a politician to lose is to get the Roland Martin endorsement. If you're a politician and you want to see your political fortunes go south, get Roland Martin to start supporting you, and that's how you watch your political fortunes go down in flames. Roland Martin only has the old chicken and biscuit eating church crowd supporting him, and that is no longer a sizable enough portion of the electorate to win anymore. The old dead black media can't win elections anymore. You all can't win. And you're blaming us when in reality you should be blaming yourselves. You don't speak for the black street. Period, point blank, end of discussion. You don't speak for the black street. You don't speak for us. You don't represent us. That's why you can't get any traction. You've been relying on the white media to boost certain politicians, and then you try to ride their coattails. But as far as you choosing a candidate, backing a candidate, and getting them across the finish line, you can't do it. And I warned you about this in 2016. I said it back then that, by the way, when Hillary Clinton lost, can you hear us now? If you say that you don't, that's all right, because we can just do this all over again in 2018 and 2020 and 2022 and 2024. We can just keep doing this all day, every day, year after year. We ain't got nothing else to do. So if you want to pretend you don't hear us, dude, we're perfectly fine with that. We can just do this all over again in 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024. Give me some more. We can just keep this going as long as you like. Here's the problem. We're going to hold out a lot longer than you. Because this is our holy mission. This isn't a political movement. This is our religion. We are devotees of Black empowerment. We are true believers. We're not here because some politician gathered us. We are here because of the blood running through our veins. And so long as that is happening, this is what we're going to be doing. Election cycles come and go. Black empowerment is eternal. And Roland, you don't speak our language. So you can try to get me to gin up support for you if you want to. You can go ahead and do that. Just understand the quickest way to lose any sort of credibility is to start supporting Roland. That's the quickest path to getting there. We're going to take a very brief commercial, non-commercial break. Before we do, I want to thank everyone who's contributed to support tonight's program on PayPal, CashApp. Well, on PayPal, Super Chat, Venmo. Still working on the Cash App one for the Black channel, but in the description or my mods can post, we have an alternative Cash App that you all can use in the meantime. So we see about getting the one for the Black channel straightened out so you can use the one for the business. It's in the description of the video, or my mods can go ahead and post it in the chat room. I want to thank Mark B, my man, Mr. Richburg, and a big shout out here to my man, B1 Media is a Lifesaver, for supporting tonight's program. Thank you very much for that. We appreciate that. We're going to take a very brief commercial, non-commercial break. When we come back, it will be this and more. This is the Black Channel.
Hello, my name is Steve Burgess. I'm the author of this book, Guidelines for the Successful Student, a closer look at parenting your school-aged child. In this book, I've explained the role of the parent and the student in addition to what accommodations, procedures, rewards and consequences and expectations that need to be in place to ensure student success from primary to high school. This book is available on Amazon.com. For more information, please visit my link tree at Easy One-on-One, and to access my latest podcast, A Teaching Moment with Mr. B. Thank you all for listening.
A white supremacist assassin seeks revenge. Corrupt FBI agents with evil intentions. Dangerous Black collaborators dedicated to treason. Occam Jeffers must defeat them all and somehow survive. One misstep and he's a dead man. Join Occam Jeffers as he looks the devil in his blue eyes and tells him, Black first. A sequel to the underground hit War of the Heart, Spirit of 1811 Publishing presents God Love Us, on sale at Amazon. Pre-order and save today. Visit spiritOf1811publishing.com and show your love.
Order yours today to experience all the benefits of Ash Kickin' natural body butter. With skin so smooth and soft, you'll thank us for it. Shop Ash Kickin' online. That's ASHKICKIN.com.
Hi, this is Brenda Starr, creator of Poetry with a Purpose and author of the book Pressed But Not Crushed. Pressed But Not Crushed is an anthology of political poems that address current and historical issues in American descendants of slave population and African American population. The book describes slaveries and its residuals, Jim Crow segregation, social depredation, and other relevant issues to American descendants of slaves and African Americans, including the current political climate that does not address our issues.
This is the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. Very glad to be with you all here this evening. And we are discussing tonight here why it is that folks are worried. They are worried, and they should be, because some of the things that they thought were going to be easy before, they're finding out that they don't have the support of the Black street, and they are asking themselves, what do you do now? What do you do when everything you've got hinges on your ability to sell Black people to the political establishment? And now there's a very clear trend that has formed. You're not going to be able to do that. You see, the Democrats are real worried right now, which is why they are putting the whip to the asses of their bootlicks, because right now, oh man, just in case anybody was telling themselves that there was going to be a dark horse candidate that was going to poke their head up and be the political spoiler for Donald Trump, well, I suppose it could happen, but if it does, it'll be a miracle. Donald Trump, without even trying, is completely trouncing the rest of the field in the Iowa caucuses. He's got more support than all the other candidates combined. He is a one-man political movement at this point. And what they're worried about is that you combine that with a unenthusiastic Black voter turnout, and this doesn't look good. Because you see, what the idea was supposed to be was that we were going to do like the civil rights generation. That was the idea. I want you all to understand. Well, Jason, why did they do something so crazy and so insane? Because they were calculating that we were going to respond the way the civil rights generation did. That if they just said, well, vote for us because them other races over there are worse, that we were going to sit here while they focused on giving resources to everybody else, and that we would actually support them giving resources to everybody else and putting ourselves at the back of the line. That was what they were calculating the whole time, was that we were going to do like the civil rights generation and support the Democrats while they put us at the back of the line and give everyone else resources. As a matter of fact, that we would be the biggest cheerleaders for all these other people, because it's the Christian thing to do. He who shall be first will be last, and he who will be last will be first. Well, if we want to be first, we got to be last, see? So stop trying to be first. We need to be last. Let them see about everybody else. And then they talk to us and realize, oh, hell, you ain't getting no traction with that. Not with these young folk. You're not getting any traction with them. And so Roland Martin wrote a check that his great big Chick-fil-A ass could not cash. He told the Democrats that, and he said it openly, if you want the Black vote, you need to give money to me. You need to give money and support to me, and I'll show you how to get that Black vote. And they've been taking L after L after L ever since. He hasn't delivered on a single thing because he can't. He's just taken one L after another. He's made all these lofty, flowery, tremendous, imaginary promises about what he was going to do. All these unrealistic, overambitious projections about what he would be able to deliver, and he hasn't been able to do it. As a matter of fact, they've watched things get worse. They've watched it get worse. And he's sitting up here saying it's only going to be a matter of time. It's only going to be a matter of time before these folks are finally done with you. Roland doesn't know what to do now. He doesn't have any support, and he can't get any. He spent the last damn decade alienating the next generation, and proudly so. He doesn't have the voice of the next generation. We are the voice of the young black people in the streets. We are the voice of the young black people on the college campus. We are the voice of the young black people in the workplace. We are the voice of the young black people on the picket line and protesting and politically demonstrating. We are their voice. Jason Black was bailing people out of jail when these young black folk wouldn't listen to Haley Barber, was sitting up there with Roland Martin telling them get out the streets. Jason Black said, if you're in the streets and if you get took down and locked up, let me know. We coming to get you out. And we did it. We didn't talk about it, we did it. The only thing that Roland Martin was spending money on was the drive-thru at Bojangles. He wasn't helping anybody. He wasn't helping anyone but himself to some extras. We've been out here, you see, you can't fabricate a track record of work. We've got a solid body of work on the street. And Roland Martin been telling folk, those are the extremists and we don't want to hear from them. We're the ones who get things done. They're the extremists. Y'all don't want to fool with them. No, just go sit over there with Roland Martin so you can eat some catfish and watch James Clyburn see Charleston get gentrified to hell. Go ahead and do that instead. While Sheila Jackson Lee is presiding over gentrifying Houston. It's gotten so bad there that she couldn't even win an election for her damn self. That's how far along it's gotten. Now you've just got a bunch of suicide bomber politicians running around out here today. All they're doing is walking off there and blowing themselves up at the orders of their white political masters. What they're not doing is delivering any goods. What they're not doing is delivering any goods. It's not happening. And Roland Martin's future depends on his ability to galvanize a black vote that he no longer has any contact with. Roland, let me go ahead and give you a little bit of political advice here. No, not just political advice, media advice. The reason that we eclipsed you all those years ago, the reason that we were able to overshadow you, overtake you, and eclipse you all those years ago is because people respect us because they see that we are fearless. They see that we don't belong to anybody. They don't even get the suspicion that we're saying things because somebody else told us, well, this is what you're supposed to say, or that we're trying to please someone. Nobody gets the haunting, frightening, disturbing suspicion that we belong in somebody's back pocket. That's the difference between you and us. Everybody can see who owns you. Hell, Donna Brazile and Hillary Clinton literally had email receipts for your ass. What? They literally had emails, and you were the only one got thrown under the damn bus. Let me tell you, that damn bus popped a wheelie when it rolled over you. The people don't respect you because you're not fearless. All that damn sassy ass neck jerking, doing your impersonation of Florence from the Jeffersons. Dude, ain't nobody respecting that. If you want to discredit us, you would have to do that first of all, you would have to get a proper ideology and some credibility. But third of all, you'd have to do it by hand, dude. You can't sit up here and jump on YouTube, a place that we own, a place where we run the roost. We were out here way before you, dude. You were the one still trying to get back on cable TV. We live here. You are a trespasser on this ground. We're the residents. Because you see, if you were actually talking to the black street, they would be telling you what we're telling you, which is why every time the Democrats lose, the first thing you do is pick up a microphone and try to do your best impersonation of me. I've never picked up a microphone and tried to impersonate you. I don't use your talking points. I don't use your political ideology. I don't use none of that. You the one that I've done videos about saying, by the way, Roland is imitating me. Roland was actually using my phrases, remember? After the Democrats lost, all of a sudden Roland was using my phrases. That's not going to work though, Roland, because you don't have credibility and people don't believe you. If you are actually going to be able to take us down, you're going to have to do it by hand. You're going to have to do it by hand. All this indirect stuff ain't going to get the job done. You're going to have to do it by hand. You're going to have to get down there and make it work on your own. You're going to have to get credibility of your own. You're going to have to say things that resonate with the black street on your own. You are going to have to sound genuine on your own. You're going to have to get that done yourself. You're going to have to use your phrases, your slogans, your cliches, and see if it resonates with the people. But you're gonna have to do it in front of us. You're gonna have to confront us head on. It ain't gonna work for you any other way. Now, it will work for us because we are the incumbents now. We lead the narrative now. The national dialogue is with us. So you see, we can do that. You can't do that anymore. See, here's the issue, Roland. You were one of those jackasses who came up under Tom Joyner. And what you all's idea of political activism is being an entertainer. That's why all you niggas love to dance. All you niggas love to dance over there. That's why we strike you as odd, because we ain't dancing. But all you dudes sit over there and stuff, y'all call up Sinbad, you go on a cruise, and then y'all sit up here and dance your asses off until you get so damn old your hips give out, and your knee gives out, and your prostate won't let you stay out for more than an hour or two before you gotta take a bathroom break. But you guys all fancied yourselves amateur entertainers. And the problem is, Roland, people don't see you as a serious political voice. They see you as an entertainer. Now you are a failed entertainer who is attempting to reinvent himself as a serious political voice. Problem, people don't know whether you want to be an entertainer or an influencer. Therefore, you are failing at both. We have been straight, no chaser. Everyone knows who we are and what we do. Let's understand something here. You big bowling ball built bastard. The FBI isn't calling Roland Martin. Do you all realize that in all the years of Roland Martin broadcasting, Roland Martin doesn't have a single story about the FBI, Department of Homeland Security, the police, or anybody else contacting him because of his political statements? Did you all realize that? In all these years, Roland Martin has never picked up the microphone, never gotten in front of the television camera and told you all about how Joe Biden's White House or Joe Biden's Justice Department, Joe Biden's FBI is messing with him. None of those things. He doesn't have a word to say about it because they ain't messing with him, because He's in the tank. He's in their back pocket. He's their do boy. He's not threatening the system. He's a part of the system. And the people understand that. They talk to us. They see what happens to us. They see what goes on with us. They see us getting shadow banned, harassed, government lists, politicians going at us. They see that we're the threat. That's a whole big difference between us and you, dude. They can see you an agent. Jason, are you going there? I'm going there. They can see you on the payroll. You ain't fooling anybody. Everybody in black society knows this is an agent. They know his job is to get us corralled and deliver us to the Democratic white political establishment. They see what you are. They know that there's the folk that black folk got to battle every day. The white supremacists we got to battle every day. Ain't none of them worried about you. You're buddy-buddy with those people. And everybody sees that. So no, they don't trust you. Because they can't. There's nothing to trust. The folk that go at us, those are not the folks that go at you. The folks who go at us are perfectly cool with you. They're perfectly fine with you. The folks who give us hell all the time out here in the black soil and on the black street, all those folk are cool with you. Isn't it very interesting that the folks in government who target us as black people, ain't none of them targeting Roland? Now, if Roland was really such a damn threat, why is it that Roland catches far less hell and far fewer problems than we do? If Roland is actually a threat to anything, why is it that the forces that come at us ain't coming at him and never have? Everybody can see it don't look right. There's nothing about you that looks right, Roland. Not your words. Not your slogans, not your associations, not your choice of tie. There's nothing that looks right. Everything looks wrong. So no, we're not on our way to passing you, buddy. We passed you up years ago. We got our credibility on the black street. You're the one trying to figure out how to get it. You're the one trying to figure out how to get there. We already got it. And you can't scare anyone or shame anyone into changing their position. Not gonna happen. The old dead black media can't win elections anymore. They can't do it anymore. They've known for some time they couldn't do it, so now they just want to change the subject. Can we talk about something else? You can talk about whatever you want to talk about, Jason. Just, Roland, you can talk about whatever you want to. Jason Black, the new black media. You can talk about any of us you want to. You can say whatever you want to, but just understand, until you start articulating black people's interests across the board, until you stop trying to gaslight and tell us that what we said we want isn't really what we want, until you stop trying to trick us into supporting the interests of everybody else except ourselves, until you make it straight down the middle about black folks' interests, buddy, ain't nobody listening to you. Ain't nobody listening to you. So you can bring together Gary Chambers, Michael Imhotep, Michael Jackson, Michael Jordan. You can bring whoever in the hell you want to. It ain't gonna change nothing. Keep fooling yourself into thinking you're gonna get control of the narrative. You don't even have control of your own soul. I would open up the telephone lines, but there's been some jankiness happening with Blog Talk for the last couple days here. They've been having issues, and it was doing it earlier today too. So I don't feel comfortable trying to use it right now because they've been having issues with you call in and you can't hear, folk who call in can't hear me, or I have difficulty connecting to it. So we're not going to be taking telephone calls here tonight, although I think we covered the subject adequately enough here. So you can see they're on the ropes. I want to say a shout out here to my man Tom Slick, Walter Wilburn, Queen Nile, Denise Bowler, everybody else here, Chris King, and everyone else who are here who has supported tonight's program on Super Chat, PayPal, Cash App, Venmo. If you are new here to the Black Channel, welcome to the Haven of Intelligent Black Thought. We do this every weekend. Click that red subscribe button. Click that yellow notification bell. Join us each and every time that we're here. If you haven't been to our website, blackchannelfilms.com, you want to go and check out our groundbreaking best-selling documentary work, 7 a.m., Gentrified, Race War, all available on DVD and streaming. Go to blackchannelfilms.com. That is blackchannelfilms.com. I want to thank all of you for joining us here for tonight's program. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and sharing. And this concludes tonight's broadcast of the Black Channel. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. And until next time, my brothers and my sisters from around the world, remember, black is the future, and the future is uncompromising.